from the Lucid Fringe. Ravings from the Lucid Fringe. Musings from an unpasteurized life. Improvised on the front line of love and beauty. Welcome, I'm Semric Yarrow. Today on Ravings from the Lucid Fringe, a few old new poems. Old because they were released in print form 15 years ago in my book, Flying on the Lucid Fringe. If you want to get the print version, you are welcome to contact me. But this is the first time they've been recorded in an audio version. Enjoy. Tick, tock, tick. There's a bomb under my vest, inside my chest, or perhaps it's in the cockpit of my soul. The experts came, dabbing essential oil of nitroglycerine behind the ears of their lean machines, but failed to find the essence of the fuse. For there's a few fuses, and they were confused, and so I breathed a nuclear sigh, and the bomb ticks on. Tick, tock, tick. There's a straight jacket made of Greenwich meanness pummeled on my flesh with fundamentalist force, so they believed and lived and breathed that I could not unstrap the alarm bells in the froggy wells of dream lore, but I break their fundamentally flawed lore and attack until there are cracks in the tortoise shell bending my back, which I believed and lived and breathed was put there to keep out the free radical radiation of Taliban banner bombs, and was for my own good. For your own good! When in fact the only bobbing lobbed grenade I need to fear is the one that threatens to spew my radical atomic radiance, and if I stop trying to stop it, it might just be for my own good. For your own good! Tick, tock, tick. Good God, I've grown claws and B-movie bugs that crawl to shore as I peel back the layers of this time zone throne, but at least I'm no clone. Are you a clone? Do you clone chorus back and now, or can you find your own voice, your own cyclone song, your own funky bomb? Tick, tock, tick. Shock! The rhythm of my revolution is arising in lucky Chinese red rockets from the packets and pockets of poke pig flu contagions until we're all rhythmically running our noses high to electron elations, quantum sights, and out-the-box kites, flamboyantly flammable in all hours and flowers, washing us into a real-life Technicolor cartoon. And as we stamp on can, laughter, cans, and hoot, with a tick, knock, prick, rock, lick, frock, chick, unlock, beautiful, shiny groove. Hold on. The answer to this rhyme cannot last long in 4/4. It needs a new, spine-attuned time to help our down dewy flutter wings to spin, so drop your change in the tin. Shake out your own wincing pincers hidden in your lockets, and hope, like me, that some city else will find it, and that soon your bomb begins to fuse juicy with my bomb, his bomb, her bomb. Ghetto blasting real good for you news until we're all immersed and infused with the ever-shifting absolute, and our new salad day ballads which thrust down roots with every last stanza are reigning free. And as we stretch across the crosses to a gorgeous tick, we find the great atomic clock that daily rises in the east, gives us yeast to grow and crack once more our snakeskin backs, and our crocodile drums will explode in every heartbeat of earthly life. Flying on the Lucid Fringe. prancing over wild stallion grasses, breezes caressing their golden manes, undulating and ululating over this shared bared felt, away from humanity's hives, amidst eons of dinosaur thoughts. The practitioner of a forgotten art, feather steps on a corridor of stones. Pierced by a sunshine outburst, he vaults, poleless, shirt-free, awake to the smells of his day. Feet first, he lands and glides across the dam, encircled by horizons. I too was pierced, but by silent cellphone warfare, bombed by the reek of cleaning fluid, intoxicated by my laptop and the pungent aroma of intercity jet fuel, a millennial millionaire divorcing myself. Nature crawls from the drains, scurries behind rotting refrigerators, and as dusk scales the window panes, scientific pill poppers revel in the double blindness of cosmically sprained brains. Unseen, a cockroach soars in defiance of Newton. Unseen, a cat leaps effortlessly beyond the possible. A ballet dancer climbs the air for longer than the auditors would believe above a downtown sprung floor. Unseen, saints and gurus grin, and in my fumbling I discover that all this time the enlightenment switch has been on standby. It melts on touch. As the LED hum fades out, all my earthly flesh ascends and descends, double-sighted, encircled only by horizons. Spirit gleeful, my body shrieks. Cybernoise. Whirling in a windmill of half-remembered faces and gory long-lost kisses, I fire the rodent joystick at fatally emancipated fairies absorbed in the computer's promises of virtual tenderness. Give me a long-distance landline call. Lend me your ears and your arms to squeeze. Give me the hours to pen an inky poem to a lover, and the weeks to pare and cast and glaze it. Instead, we are so busy interacting spider-thin we forget to act and risk crafting beauty beyond pixels. Have we lost the will to let a chosen few look deeper into our crying shame and find the phoenix? Perhaps, in truth, the mold that spreads on musty-minded letters remembers a time when we spent time in speaking but only shared a blurry vision. A time when men keeled over drunk and hardly knew their wives and never talked or heard talk about where the lines should be drawn with children in the dark. Never even questioned the daily national story. Somewhere, amidst the stellar infinities of spam, we are pin-pricked out of techno-comfort. Our stomachs yearn for more than drive-through quarrels and take-out love until we bring thoughts, fresh sprouted, chopped and aired, held Tai Chi slow above the inkwell. We can all learn to scroll without a walking ring, and take the first steps to clarity and community, collectively causing galactic spaces spotlight years wide, sending multiple pulses through to those stuck in more feeble-feeling times behind the headlines, where still suffer the little skeptics, until the supernova comes and blasts our hearts into the aboriginal mystery again. Only this time, some of us shall know it and be ready. Praise be to the silicon seams that bear cellular destruction, frustration, electro-addiction, and amidst all this our dreams upon their backs, and show us glimpses of what systemic perfection could be, coming to a world near you tomorrow, grander than the material utopias we dreamt of yesterday. Praise be for the full stop that lets me close down my connection so that I can share the dream, and in cyber silence connect to you. Together tastes. Sizzling pink, you reel me into the tantalizing unbuttoning of your mermaid's dance. Loose lips long to mould again your salty plum grooves, quivering tonight with the shimmer of a cold ocean in summer's swell. Somewhere in our delicately rigid fingers, spirits are longing for the soma juice we're shaking out. Some are tigers, urging us to rise to volcanic rhythms and silken sweat, oiling our goosebumps as we curl easily on palm leaves in a gorgeous grafting merry-go-round, charging, sighing, purging, reaching a place of exuberant evolving. We twist, chew, chasm burst in the tingle blooms of deep blue-red soul warmth. Magic at play in the RSA. Thrice beneath a time in an hour or two blazed a World Cup of wizards in a far dark hall. The ex-colonials faced a fate of first-round exits, despite isolated efforts to hear the ancient druids' call. Conquerors' heads engaged in such a messy birth. Foolish whites said blacks had no brains or thoughts. Some blacks parried back in borrowed intellectual clothes, but the spells of feet and hips and heart carried on below. In Africa the spirits of the soil were abroad. Mudumbis and cowpeas started rising up so tall. White women drivers began chanting witches' mantras in uncharted parts of Joburg after shopping at the mall. Well-meaning billionaires poured cash into the war chests of vaccine-searching varsities with blinkers on their eyes, who trashed their own professors if they dared to seek solutions beyond the bad science of pharma corporate lies. The skeptics shrieked wrath at any herbalist or healer or homeopath who dared suggest truth of a different kind. But hearty thighs pounding polyrhythms in the crowd still helped our raw magicians leave the northerners behind. Meanwhile, in the far Pacific, healing hands complete surgery without cuts, but with the energy of faith alone. Shamans and yogis from equator to the Arctic feel increasing loose strength building in the gravity zone. Finally, the final brings a clashing call of cymbals. In the jungle mists, the zombie makers murder stolen souls, with hearts as shrunk and shriveled as a Tokolosh's smile, with steel as sharp as Stalin's, they butcher for a while. Then the warriors arise whose softness is truly might, whose feet are planted firmly, whose voices croon and wail, whose daring psychic voodoo hurls thunderbolts at shadows, till the Lekka local structure looms triumphant in the day. But only in a land where sick, fragile superstition has been blown away by souls and spirits hand in hand. Only in a land where parched, pale thinking passes through the mother's pulsing drumbeat to a reservoir of love. Only after plastic junk has clogged the nation's arteries, only when the last blue crane has sailed through the air, and if you think this wizard's words are just another fairy tale, in Africa, like life, remember, nothing's simply fair. Chinese whispers in southern Italy. One day the sun shone over the first spring swimmers. One night the rain drowned the first mosquito hatchlings. One day this beach bum walks into a barb. One night she asks him which plant he comes from. One day he blows pollen with a toothy slime. One night she pours him a grass of lime. One day he plucks a blade and stabs her in the crest. One night her waves are still too big for his Vespa. Today he'll saunter through Neapolitan streets and drink expressive coughs. Tonight they'll whisper and gaze up at the blooming moon from the compartments of steam trails and snail traps, and munch on abstract artichokes and choke as they sip cold beards, until day wakes them to shout and deal on street corners in a lazy, languid language. One more time. A poem for the Southern Hemisphere spring equinox. In the Cape. Michael's time. The archangel cuts away the South's winter fat. A sushi chef in welded boots. I, too, awake to the strange sound of muscles pulsing in the throat. At the lathe, infections turn to laughter as Earth's fire explodes into spring's lovely lips. Those who have not collapsed into debris' desolation remember in surprise that God is green. A poem for the Cape Southern Hemisphere summer solstice. Beyond the longest day. Fat, round, and beautiful rivers of lychees and grapes rise up, squeezing us sumptuously as they pass. And as we sit and sweat, we feel summer's swells in our bellies' oceans. Full and ripe, we dive forth in all our gorgeous nakedness, birthing our new-born selves. Shining forth, we do our duty. The donkey's burdens lift as we tango ever on, becoming tree-top fairy angels once more, who childishly wish and reap and rejoice in the heat. Maybe last year you lost track. Maybe your long ears were cropped by carols piped synthetically and you stole, or manacled yourself to credit, or blew five-figure bonuses to prove love in your sub-Santa suit. Maybe you drowned in chocolate liqueurs and lonely gravy once again. This is a time to forgive yourself, to find yourself, to cherish yourself. You are the cherry, lush and glowing. Fill your trolley with nature's gifts, raw laughter, richly spiced. Feel fresh petals breeze across the peaks. Allow yourself to be blessed. Allow yourself to bless. Give blessings decadently. Sing honor into your meetings. Taste spun-speck visions. Grow plump like mangoes. Grow into your dreams together. And finally, here is a memoir poem from my childhood, which I neglected to include on episode 15's group of memoir poems, even though I thought I had recorded it. So here it is for real. This is Sausage Dogs and Well-Meant Wounds, 1980. I lay on a Chesterfield couch, and in my fever and the jolt of bedside moomins, I moved beyond the magic ease of school to a magic past life, an old Finn with a sausage dog in mist. Later that summer I discovered Asterix and the fear of rabies and teeth-rotting French lollipops, mosquitoes and squatting loos in one-star hotels, lifts with quaint doors, giant coffees and croissants, the delightful experience of getting tipsy while a vineyard owner gave us 5-star treatment, and a breathless waterfall. I revelled in the poetry of La River's saucy sauce, Alpine road tunnels and Zurich trams, timber chalet lofts and pasta wide as a typewriter ribbon, Monopoly with strange road names, yogurt in a culture, and chocolate spread. Autumn brought not the green fields of the past, but a new school playground painted with hopscotch numbers and heavy with brutal games of bulldog, played by much bigger boys. Out of school, I explored the front door down the hill, which led nowhere but to a wonderfully wild dump, where, with Helena, I created codes and formed a tiny gang and told Peggy what to do, and avoided Lime, whose presence made my mother rage against a thoughtless world that dumped where children played. Autumn also brought conkers, fresh and white when opened, but soon burnished brown. A week among boys and 2 girls, labelled gifted by the department. Drama classes were cancelled for lack of interest. The only other taker removed from my dorm by a foolish adult for disturbing the peace, a crime he never committed. I played Cluedo by the fire and suspected everybody, wandered bored along broadside boardwalks. Learned to cheat at chess, but not how to win. Anger dissolved in the exquisite suspense of the 39 steps. Frustration imploded in a fireworks display, and I left with a resolve to hide my light till I could resist such well-meant prisons. And then Grandad number 3 flew in from East London, told me just to blow that horn. I recorded songs and stories in a B-flat scale for a homemade variety show cassette. The underground river still flowed. The light source pulsed on. There are other poems from the book that already have audio versions at my Bandcamp site. If you look for Lucid Fringe EP, you'll find my Southern Hemisphere winter poem, among others, there. So, thank you for listening to this latest episode in the series, and you can find all of my articles and my recordings at lucidfringe.substack.com, except my music and poetry from the past, which is all available at simrickyarrow, all one word, .bandcamp.com, and the background recordings and sounds that you will have heard are all either from those recordings or they are my own. Please do give this a rating if it's on your podcast app. Please spread the word if you enjoy what you hear, and if you want to give me some feedback or commentary, of course I'm very open to that. Any suggestions for future episodes